the mirage of motivation. We all dream of change. We make plans, set goals, get motivated. Yet somehow, weeks pass, and our lives stay the same. We blame time, distractions, or fate, but the truth is simpler. Transformation doesn't begin with motivation. It begins with discipline. And discipline, as Krishna reminds us, isn't about forcing ourselves. It's about mastering our inner world. Motivation fades, but the one who stays true to their word, even when no one's watching, discovers real power. Discipline is the bridge between desire and destiny. The true meaning of discipline. From childhood, we're told to be disciplined, but often it's taught as control, as something that limits freedom. Yet in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna redefines discipline not as restriction, but as refinement. He uses the word self-restraint, not as a cage, but as a bridge between chaos and clarity. Discipline isn't punishment, it's alignment. It's the art of guiding our energy, not suppressing it. Through discipline, we do not lose our freedom, we create it. The power within. We often wait for the world to change, for circumstances to become easier, for others to understand us. But Krishna reminds us the power to change our life doesn't begin outside. It begins within. When we take charge of our mind, our emotions, and our choices, we stop being victims of life and start becoming its creators. Let a person lift themselves by their own self, for the self alone is friend and foe in Bhagavad Gita. The moment we realize that strength lives within us, not in others, not in luck, our transformation begins. The restless mind. Even when we understand what's right, the mind doesn't always cooperate. It wanders, resists, doubts, and distracts. We sit to meditate, it runs. We try to focus, it rebels. But Krishna explains that this restlessness is natural. The goal is not to silence the mind, but to return to awareness, again and again. As the wind drives a boat off course, the mind too can wander. Bring it back with patience and practice. Discipline is not about never getting distracted. It's about gently returning every single time. The ocean and the rivers. In life, countless desires, emotions, and distractions flow toward us like rivers. We cannot stop them, but we can learn from the ocean. The ocean remains vast, deep, and still, even as all rivers merge into it. In the same way, true discipline is not about escaping noise or controlling everything. It's about remaining steady amidst it all. He who remains unmoved by the flood of desires, who remains calm like the ocean, he attains peace. When we stop reacting to every ripple, we discover the stillness that no storm can shake. The fire of tapasya. Every act of consistency, no matter how small, lights the fire of tapasya within us. Tapasya doesn't mean suffering or denial. It means sacred effort, conscious action done with awareness and devotion. Each time we follow through on what we promise ourselves, we strengthen our inner will. That is how discipline becomes spiritual practice. Discipline is expressed through your body, your speech, and your mind. When our words, thoughts, and actions align, discipline stops being pressure and becomes power. The inner battle. Even after all understanding, we still fall. We forget. We drift. We lose momentum. But Krishna never condemns us for it. He simply reminds us, get up and fight again. Every day we recommit, we live the Gita. Every day we return to our truth, we rise. Even if the most sinful one worships me with devotion, he must be regarded as righteous, for he has resolved rightly. Discipline isn't about perfection. It's about returning, recommitting, and rising again, no matter how many times we fall. The path of remembrance. In the end, discipline is not force, it's remembrance. Remembering who we truly are. Remembering what we value. Remembering why we began. When our actions flow from remembrance, life aligns effortlessly. We don't chase transformation, we embody it. Krishna teaches, whatever one remembers at the end of life, that alone they become. Therefore, remember me at all times. Discipline, then, is sacred remembering, the act of bringing our mind back home, again and again. We don't need to wait for perfect conditions to change. We don't need endless motivation. We only need awareness and one step of conscious action. When we act from remembrance, we are no longer ordinary. We become instruments of divine order, steady, peaceful, unshaken. Krishna's whisper to us. Discipline is not a burden. It is your path back to me. For I am not far away. I live in your awareness, waiting for you to return. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone who needs this reminder today. Comment below. Tell us what part of Krishna's teaching resonated most with you. And if you believe more people should hear this wisdom, like, share, and subscribe to stay connected to more such timeless truths from the Gita. Together, let's keep spreading awareness. Because when one heart awakens, the world shifts a little closer to peace.